America. In the United States, few topics have created as much debate in recent years as transgender participation in sports. What began as a conversation about inclusion and equality has now transformed into one of the most controversial cultural and political discussions in America. From schools and sports arenas to courtrooms and political stages, the debate continues to grow stronger. At the center of the latest controversy stands Caitlyn Jenner, a former Olympic gold medalist, television personality, and one of America's most recognized transgender public figures. Recently, Jenner publicly criticized the California Interscholastic Federation, CIF, saying the organization is to blame for the growing controversy involving transgender athletes in school sports. But why has this issue become so controversial? Why are school sports now at the center of national political debates? And why would Caitlyn Jenner, herself a transgender woman, criticize policies that many believe are designed to support transgender inclusion? This story goes far beyond sports. It touches on identity, fairness, equality, science, politics, and the future of competitive athletics in America. Who is Caitlyn Jenner? Before understanding the controversy, it is important to understand why Caitlyn Jenner's voice matters in this debate. Caitlyn Jenner first became famous as one of the greatest athletes in American history. In 1976, Jenner won the Olympic gold medal in the decathlon at the Montreal Olympics, becoming a national sports icon. For decades, Jenner was recognized as one of the world's most celebrated athletes. Years later, Jenner publicly transitioned and became one of the highest-profile transgender figures in the world. Her transition attracted global attention and turned her into a major voice in conversations about transgender identity. However, unlike many activists in transgender communities, Caitlyn Jenner has often expressed independent and sometimes controversial opinions regarding transgender participation in sports. That independence has placed Jenner in the center of intense criticism from both supporters and opponents. Now, once again, Jenner's comments have ignited national discussion. What is the California Interscholastic Federation, CIF? The California Interscholastic Federation, commonly known as CIF, governs high school sports across California. California is home to millions of students and one of America's largest school athletic systems. The federation creates rules and policies for athletic competition, including eligibility requirements for student athletes. One of CIF's most debated policies allows transgender students to compete in sports categories that align with their gender identity. Supporters argue this policy promotes equality and protects transgender students from discrimination. Critics argue the policy creates competitive advantages in some sports and raises fairness concerns for biological female athletes. The disagreement has grown increasingly political. And now, Caitlyn Jenner says the organization itself is responsible for the controversy. What did Caitlyn Jenner say? According to reports, Caitlyn Jenner strongly criticized CIF leadership, arguing that the federation created confusion and conflict by implementing policies without properly addressing competitive fairness concerns. Jenner reportedly stated that CIF is to blame because officials failed to create balanced policies that satisfy both fairness and inclusion. Her criticism focuses on a difficult question: how can sports remain inclusive while also maintaining competitive fairness? Jenner has repeatedly argued that biological differences between males and females can matter significantly in competitive athletics, especially in sports involving speed, strength, endurance, and power. This position has made Jenner controversial inside parts of the transgender community. Some supporters view Jenner as courageous for expressing unpopular opinions. Others accuse Jenner of harming transgender rights. The bigger debate: fairness versus inclusion. The controversy surrounding transgender athletes often centers around two powerful values. 1. Inclusion. Supporters of transgender participation argue that sports should be open to everyone, regardless of gender identity. They believe excluding transgender athletes causes discrimination and emotional harm. Many argue schools should create welcoming environments where all students feel respected and included. For supporters, allowing transgender girls to compete in girls' sports is part of basic human dignity and equal treatment. They believe sports should unite people, not divide them. 2. Fairness. Critics focus on competition and biology. Some athletes, coaches, and parents argue that individuals born biologically male may retain physical advantages even after medical transition. These critics worry that female athletes could lose opportunities, scholarships, championships, or records if biological advantages remain. For them, sports are fundamentally based on fairness and equal competition. This side of the debate argues inclusion should not come at the expense of competitive balance. And this is exactly where conflict begins. Why California became ground zero. California has become one of the leading states supporting transgender inclusion policies. Because of this, school sports controversies frequently emerge in California more than in many other states. Some parents support inclusive policies. Others strongly oppose them. School board meetings have become heated. Protests have occurred. Politicians from both political parties continue debating the issue. What happens in California often influences national conversations. As one of America's largest and most influential states, policy decisions there can shape future debates across the country. That is why CIF's policies matter far beyond California. The political dimension. The transgender athlete debate is no longer only about sports. It has become deeply political. Conservative politicians often argue for stricter rules regarding sports participation, emphasizing biological sex. Liberal politicians generally focus more on inclusion, anti-discrimination protections, and gender identity rights. As elections approach, this issue increasingly appears in political campaigns, television debates, and national media coverage. Some politicians describe it as a civil rights issue. Others frame it as protecting women's sports. This political divide has made compromise difficult. Every decision becomes controversial. Every policy creates backlash. And every public statement attracts national attention. The emotional side of the debate. What often gets lost in political arguments are the young students involved. For transgender students, sports participation can feel deeply personal. Many simply want to compete, belong, and enjoy athletics like everyone else. For biological female athletes, concerns about fairness may also feel deeply personal. Many train for years to compete at high levels. Some worry opportunities could disappear. Parents on both sides often believe they are protecting children. That emotional reality makes this issue especially difficult. There are no easy answers. Only difficult conversations. Scientific and medical questions. Science has also become part of the controversy. Researchers continue debating the impact of hormones, puberty, and biological development on athletic performance. Some studies suggest hormone therapy reduces competitive advantages. Other experts argue certain physical benefits may remain. Because scientific findings vary depending on sport, age, and transition timing, policymakers struggle to create universally accepted rules. What works in swimming may not work in track. What works in wrestling may not work in basketball. Every sport presents unique challenges. That complexity makes policymaking extremely difficult. Why Caitlyn Jenner's opinion matters. Caitlyn Jenner occupies a unique position. As both an Olympic athlete and transgender woman, Jenner brings personal experience from both worlds. Supporters believe Jenner understands competitive sports better than many politicians. Critics argue Jenner's views do not represent all transgender individuals. Still, her comments attract enormous attention because of her public profile and athletic history. When Caitlyn Jenner speaks about sports, people listen, whether they agree or disagree. Social media and public reactions. After Jenner's comments, social media quickly exploded. Supporters praised her honesty. Critics accused her of betraying transgender athletes. Political commentators used the controversy to support their own arguments. News organizations debated the future of transgender participation policies. The conversation spread across television, podcasts, YouTube, and online platforms. Once again, America found itself divided. Can there be a middle ground? Many experts believe compromise may be possible. Some suggest creating sport-specific guidelines. Others support additional divisions or eligibility standards. Some propose balancing inclusion with competitive fairness through medical criteria. However, finding agreement remains difficult because emotions and politics often dominate discussion. Every proposed solution creates new disagreements. Still, many believe respectful conversation remains essential. Without dialogue, polarization only increases. The future of school sports. The biggest question remains unanswered. What happens next? Will California change its policies? Will CIF adjust eligibility rules? Will legal challenges reshape the future? Or will debates continue growing nationwide? One thing is certain, the transgender athlete controversy is not disappearing anytime soon. It represents one of the biggest social and cultural debates in modern America. And figures like Caitlyn Jenner will continue shaping public conversation. Conclusion. The controversy surrounding the California Interscholastic Federation and transgender athletes reveals something much bigger than sports. It reflects a nation struggling to balance fairness, inclusion, identity, equality, and competition. Caitlyn Jenner's criticism of CIF has added fuel to an already emotional national debate. Some see Jenner as defending women's sports. Others see her comments as harmful. But regardless of opinion, one reality remains clear. America is still searching for answers. The future of school athletics, and perhaps the future of this wider cultural debate, may depend on whether leaders can find common ground between inclusion and fairness. Until then, the controversy continues. And the debate shows no signs of slowing down.